Bait and switch. That is what dismissive avoidants often do to their partners. Early in the relationship, especially in the early dating phase, they can come across as if they are emotionally available. They can even appear as if they are being vulnerable with their partners. They can provide you with a connection and a chemistry that is off the charts. Have intimate conversations. You feel like you finally met your person. You've met your match. Everything seems perfect. They're showing up for you in the relationship. They're putting in effort. They're putting in their time, and they're putting in their energy. But then, when the relationship reaches the commitment phase, it's like, where did that person go? Understand, early on in the relationship, the avoidant has not had their fears triggered yet. This is a person that was emotionally neglected in childhood. Their parents or their caretakers did not meet or nurture their emotional needs whatsoever. Feelings were routinely not discussed in their household. They often grew up in environments where you just don't talk about your feelings. And when they did talk about their feelings, any negative emotion was immediately dismissed, perhaps even reprimanded. They got the message, your feelings, your emotions are not welcome here. Fast forward to being an adult. This is a person that feels unlovable at their core and defective. Because they didn't get the love from their parents as a child, they grew up believing that there was something inherently wrong with them, that there's something defective. And they learned to associate emotional closeness with abandonment. It's a subconscious fear. They are often completely unaware of their own fears due to a lack of self-reflection. They learned in childhood to avoid processing deep emotions, to avoid dealing with problems, to avoid in general. And this especially includes avoiding self-reflection, because when you self-reflect, it's the polar opposite of avoiding. You have to see where you've gone right, where you've gone wrong, process your emotions, take accountability, reflect on how your behavior impacts others. That's painful stuff. This is a person that has learned to avoid anything painful because they've never been shown how to talk about, let alone process emotions. So closeness begins to build in the relationship over time. It's what happens in relationships. As emotional closeness, emotional intimacy builds, this person's fears start to get triggered. Early in the relationship, when they're showing up for you, their fears haven't been triggered yet. They're riding the dopamine high, the dopamine and the oxytocin, the feel-good hormones that go off in the brain early in dating. So they're letting all these bottled up emotions flow out right onto their partner because their fears simply haven't been triggered yet. But now that closeness is building, those fears get triggered, and the avoidant does what is called deactivation. They take their feelings and they begin to bury them. They block off their own access to their own feelings for their partner. It's like a brick wall pops up inside of themselves, and they can no longer access their own feelings. They will do distancing behaviors. Suddenly, they'll be difficult to pin down to spend any time together. They're hard to even get a text message reply out of. And when you press for answers, they'll tell you that they're really busy right now, or they just can't give you what you need. And then comes the discard. Their fears have gotten triggered to the point where they just completely deactivate, shut down, and toss their partner to the side as if they never even mattered. There can be a fade out phase before the discard where you notice this person pulling away, or the discard can happen completely out of the blue without them even pulling away whatsoever. And it can be completely blindsiding. You thought you had this emotionally available person that you had a strong connection with, and all of a sudden they're shutting down, they're showing you no emotion, no empathy, coldness in the eyes, and they're just telling you vague excuses. I can't give you what you need. I'm just not ready for a relationship. You deserve someone who can love you the way you deserve to be loved. Work is just so busy right now. Right person, wrong time, etc., etc. The vague excuses are flowing. The more you press for answers, the more they shut down, back away, and maybe even ghost you altogether. You're blindsided and you're not given any closure, and they pulled the ultimate bait and switch on you. You thought you had an emotionally available person. In reality, you had a person that is completely emotionally unavailable, that does not process feelings, and does not even know how to understand their own behavior due to a lack of self-reflection. It's a very painful experience, but understand if this happened to you and you were a kind, loving partner to this person, it's not your fault. You didn't cause this. These are unhealed childhood attachment wounds. It's a reflection of them and those wounds, their unhealed traumas, and it's also a reflection of their character because these behaviors are choices. You didn't force them to behave this way, so don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself at all, because if you blame yourself, you're pushing yourself further into anxiety, further into anxiousness, and you're going to make it so much harder on yourself to get over this person.